Last lesson on relating percents to either fractions, proportions, decimals, and equations. This one's going to highlight equations as our method. So let's jump down. We're going to notice that our beginning part starts off the same as most all of them has. You can represent A as P% of B using this equation. Okay, so we've done proportion and other methods. Now we're going to see how this relates to equations. Starting off, A, we're just going to translate from the English to the math. Is the same as equals. P% of, we've said is multiply, B, and voila, you have your equation. Okay? Now if you forget this, either try to remember A is P% of B, or some people remember that P and B are on the same side of the equal sign together. PB, often peanut butter. Okay, so maybe remember that P and B are together. P is obviously percent. B then is on the same side. This could be maybe apples, so it's separate. Where A is a part of the base, that's what it always has been. A is the part, B is the base, and P is the percent. Okay, so let's go through. We're going to kind of do the translation we just did with these problems. Use the percent equation to answer the question. What number is 16% of 75? So what number? We don't know. That's x. Is equal 16%, 0.16 of can be multiply 75. I took this x instead of, it could be an a. Again, the variable isn't that important. I'm just relating it, but if it helps you to keep that as a, you could also consider this a equals 0.16 times 75. I'm going to just multiply, pretty similar to what we did the last lesson with our decimal work. 0.16 times 75, we find that our answer is 12. Is 12 16% of 75? Does it sound logical? Yes, it does. We're good. Okay, I'll say A equals 12. Letter B, what number is 89% of x? So A is equals 89%, 0.89 of is to multiply 110. 0.89 times 110 is 97.9. Number is 97.9. Let's try three more along those same lines. What number is 65% of 84? So what part of the total 84? So A is equals 0.65 of is to multiply 84. 0.65 times 84. Oops. Always check your calculator. I had negative 65 times 84, which is a big difference. 54.6 then is my answer. Letter B, what number is 33% of 110? 33, A equals 0.33 times 110. 0.33 times 110 is equal to 36.3. Okay, so that's what A equals. Moving down here, on June 14th, 2002, the distance between Earth and the Moon was about 375,000 kilometers. On that day, a traveling asteroid missed the Earth by 32% of that distance. So of that 375,000 kilometers. How far away from Earth was the asteroid at that time? So what is that part? So it's A equals 0.32 times 375,000. And we find that this asteroid was only 120,000 kilometers from the Earth. Pretty close, pretty close. So, moving on, let's try the second page of this lesson. Finding a percent. What percent of 25 is 60? So similar, we're going to translate it just like we've been doing. What percent? We don't know the percent, so I'm going to write P%. Of is to multiply. 25 is equals 60. So I'm not, even though we know that our formula is P% of B, I'm just taking it as it comes. So you can rewrite it into this formula, putting the P% here, figuring out what the base is and the part. That's perfectly fine, but I'm just going to kind of translate each of the words as they are. Now we have an equation. Our goal is to get P by itself, so we know these are being multiplied. We do the inverse operation and we divide. 60 divided by 25 is 2.4. Now the only thing we have to remember is that they want a percent. This is not a percent yet. We have to turn it into a percentage. So move my decimal point 2 places. 240% is my final answer. Okay, so this is the only method. If you are trying to find the percent in the end, you actually have to turn it into one. The proportion and the other methods give it to you right when you find it. Here, don't forget to change it. Part B, what percent of 245 is 70? So what percent, P percent of is to multiply, 245 is equals 70. We're going to divide by 245, divide by 245. Those cancel, P percent comes down. I have 70 divided by 245. My decimal is non-ending, 0.2857. We'll stop at 4 decimal places. Move it 2 over to turn it into a percent. I get 28.57%. Some people ask me, how many decimal places should I round to? If you're not told, round to 2 decimal places and leave it like that. It's a good rule of thumb. All right, example 3, finding a base. 27 is 7.5% of what number? So 27 is equals 0.075 of is multiply. What number is x? Divide by 0.075, divide by 0.075. Those cancel, and 27 divided by 0.075, we find that x equals 360. If I check it, is 27, if we were to replace this, 27 is 7.5% of 360? Yeah, definitely makes sense, because 10% would be 36. Letter B, 35 is 0.15% of what number? Divide by 0.15, divide by 0.15. Those cancel, and 35 divided by 0.15 equals 233.3 repeating. It's not a percentage, so our answer stays as is, no decimal movement. Let's try just A and B, then we'll go on to the next page here. We'll keep going. Your friend paid $9 for a movie ticket. This amount was 72% of the total amount your friend spent at the theater. How much money did your friend spend? So here, it's not as easy to do the translation as we did with the kind of setup like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep in mind our formula. A equals P percent of B. Remembering that percentage and base, P and B, peanut butter, stay together. So, first of all, easy amount is the 72%, so I'm going to put that in place. Now we have our friend paid $9 for a movie ticket, and they want to know that that's only 72% of the total amount. How much did our friend total spend? How much money did your friend spend? Well, they spent $9, yes, but they spent more than that. That was only for the movie ticket. So this $9 represents a part. The 9's going to go here. We keep the B. So we end up with 9 equals 0.72 times B. And we're ready to solve. Keeping in mind that A is a part of B, which is our base, or the total. Some people think of it that way. All right, so I have 9 equals 0.72 times B. I'm going to divide by 0.72, divide by 0.72. 9 divided by 0.72 is 12.5. So our friends spent $12.50. Very reasonable amount to spend. We did it correctly. Letter B, a tourist dining at an outdoor restaurant in the Caribbean counts 6 iguanas in cages on the restaurant's patio. A waitress informs the tourist that these 6 iguanas represent 30% of the iguanas living on the restaurant's property. How many iguanas are there at the restaurant? So, A is P percent of B. We have these iguanas on the patio. There's 6 of them. Now these 6 are only 30% of the total. We don't know the total. That's what they want us to figure out. So we don't know B, but we do know there's 6 of them that we can see. So this 6 is a part of the total. So our equation then is 6 equals 0.30 times B. And I'm ready to solve. Divide both by 0.30. My 0.30's cancel. I divide 6 by 0.3 to find that B is equal to 20. It's a word problem, so don't forget to label it. There are 20 iguanas at this restaurant.